Many incidents of terrorism happen throughout the world. From ourworldindata.org, an estimate in 2017, around 26,000 people died from terrorism globally.
Based on Global Terrorism Index 2017 report, Iraq is the first country with the greatest impact of terrorism in the world, followed by the second rank are Afghanistan, Nigeria, Syria, and Pakistan. However, these 5 countries have low education and low internet speed. So, we are interested to examine whether terrorism is influenced by high levels of education, internet speed, and cybersecurity. I'm Veronica,
I'm Jessica, and this is our research.
We use ordinary least square model to estimate whether terrorism is correlated by secondary education, internet speed, and cybersecurity based on 2017 data. The terrorism as dependent variables, education as variable of interest, internet speed, and cybersecurity as control variables. In Global Terrorism Index and Global Cybersecurity Index, we use ad hoc solution by shift the data plus 1 for every number because there is zero data so it cannot be logged.
We use 5 literatures to confirm our research. Lochner's journal discusses about negative correlation between education and crime. David Benson's journal discusses about why the internet is not increasing terrorism. And UNODC articles about the use of the internet for terrorist purpose. And Mitko Bogdanowski and Drek Petresky about terrorism and global security.
If we regress the terrorism with secondary education, they have negative significant correlation. What will happen if we add up the control variables? Terrorism still has a negative significant correlation with education. It proves Lochner's journal that said high school graduation significantly reduced criminal activity. That's why education is important variable to terrorism. Education is important because it will develop formal labor market skills, so it will decrease criminal possibility. But we have to know that some educated people can be indoctrinated with criminal activity because of terrorism propaganda. They cannot think logically and critically.
The first control variable is internet speed, regression model 2. Terrorism and internet speed have a negative significant correlation with a coefficient of minus 0.1. It means when there's 1% increase in internet speed, there's a decrease minus 0.1 in terrorism. This situation explained David Benson's journal, terrorists are not the only group that use internet capabilities. The government used the internet too. When internet speed increase, it means that the internet developed their capability. The internet helped government to search terrorism activity. So, they can reduce terrorists by snatch them. If we interact the internet speed variables with secondary education, they are not significant, but if we interact internet speed with the Global Security Index, they have negative significant correlation. When internet speed increase 1%, there's decrease in terrorism minus 0.2. Second control variable that we use is Global Cybersecurity Index. If we run terrorism and global cybersecurity variables, there's no correlation. But if we add up another variables such as internet or education, there's a significant correlation between the variables. These results support Mitko Bogdanowski and Drek Petresky's journal. The journal said that terrorism will increase because the better security make terrorists wants to make the better attack to ruin the infrastructure. But as the UNODC journal, the government always increase their legislation and policy capability following the internet progress. The type of legislation are the security on internet access to online web or illegal activity in the internet to prevent crime use the internet connections and services. Government strengthen more the Global Cybersecurity Index to fight the terrorism too.
Based on regression result that we did, terrorism is influenced by education rate, internet speed, and cybersecurity. If a country has a low level of education, it can increase the possibility of terrorism. On the contrary, if a country has a high level of education, the level of terrorism is possibly low.
The government must equalize the education if a country wants to reduce the level of terrorism, so that everyone can get proper educations to make a good formal labor market skills. Other than that, education is also needed to teach human nature such as caring, patience, and responsibility, so people tend to think twice before committing crime.
Thank you for watching our video.
Hope this video can make a new insight and it can be useful for another research.
Bye!